Hi, good morning. My name is Aroosa Rauf, real estate broker at RE/MAX Presidential in Pembroke Pines and in Aventura. Good morning. Today we have our sellers, Mr. and Mrs. Chinku. Here we have
Mohan Chinku
and
Juliet Chinku.
We sold them a property about 10 years ago in Miramar, and today we are actually presenting them offers that they received on their home. Their family is actually relocating up north with their daughter in Port Charlotte. So this morning you're going to be seeing how we present multiple offers to our sellers, okay? How do you feel?
Good.
All right, good. So we have some exciting news, Mr. and Mrs. Chinku. We have received multiple offers on your property. Multiple offers means that not just one buyer, we have more than one buyer who has placed an offer on your home. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you these offers in the fashion we received them, okay? So, great news is we have your home listed at 2049, and the great news, Mr. Chinku and Mrs. Chinku, is we received an offer for 207. $2,000 above what you were asking for is what we received on the property. So let me go ahead and present you the first offer. The first offer came in from another real estate agent, a cooperating agent, and the offer here is on an as-is contract. So obviously the seller says Mr. and Mrs. Chinku, and here's the buyer's name. All right, 7631 Miramar Parkway in Miramar, Florida. Here are the personal properties that they would like included with the sale of your home: central air, central heat, refrigerator, washer and dryer. That will be included. They're offering us $207 as a purchase price on your home. Our asking price is $204.9. So they're so excited with the home and the condition of the home that the buyer is willing to pay you $2,000 above what you are asking for on your home. In addition to that, they have placed a good faith deposit so you can take the home off the market of $2,000. Okay. In addition to that, the buyer is going to be obtaining a new mortgage to obtain financing to pay us the $207, and they're getting an FHA mortgage for $199,755. All right, and they are going FHA. That means that they're putting 3.5% down of the purchase price, and the bank will give them a new loan on the home. All right. Time for acceptance. They want us to obviously respond to them as soon as possible on their offer. And the closing date they went ahead and placed was March the 15th of 2017. How does that sound so far?
Good.
Sounds good. Very, very good. All right, on the next page of the contract, obviously they are obtaining a new mortgage from the bank, so you understand that they have to do an appraisal on the home, because the bank wants to make sure that if they're lending the money on the home, that the property will be worth the $207 on the home. So they have on the per contract, they have 45 days per contract to go ahead and obtain a new mortgage. But because we're closing so soon, March the 15th, we should probably change that to make it a little bit less so we can close on time. Okay, inspections, they placed here that they would like 5 days to go ahead and do a home inspection on the property. And within 5 days, if they are not satisfied with the home, the buyer per this contract has a right to back out within the 5 days, and we would refund them their $2,000 deposit. But they only have 5 days to do that. So they can't come back to us 2 weeks later and say, well, we'd like to renegotiate. No, you have 5 days to do so. Okay, so any questions so far? All right. On this contract, it says appraisal valuation. What that means is that, again, they're obtaining a new mortgage. The only reason they're doing an appraisal is because they're getting financing or a loan from the bank. So we have to make sure that the property will appraise at 207. If it appraises less than 207, then the bank will notify us, and then at that time you have an option to renegotiate, or the buyer can say, well, I don't want the home if you don't give it to me at that price. Okay? This is a standard contract. Any default by the buyer, they'll be in risk of their deposit, and same thing for you, obviously, that you're selling your home. Okay? So we're going to put both parties together as a seller and the buyer. Okay? Any questions so far? Very good. There are no additional or special clauses that they put here. A very simple, clean contract of 207. and they have already signed it here. So if we don't make any changes, you would just go ahead and sign. If we do any changes, then that would be a counter, where the buyer would want to initial the changes and send it back to us. Okay? Because our home is built prior to 1978, it is required for us to get a lead-based paint disclosure, just to make sure that there is no lead base in the walls or in the home. Okay? The next page over here is the FHA Writer. Because they're getting a mortgage from the bank, they're getting an FHA. FHA is not lending them the money. The bank is lending them the money. FHA just insures the loan for the buyer. Okay? And as you can see, here's a copy of the DU underwriting findings. That's not just a standard pre-approval letter. As a matter of fact, they did also send us a copy of that, but we went even further and we requested from them, hey, give us a DU approval letter to tell us what exactly are the findings. And that's what we have here, which is a desktop underwriting approval letter, which tells us the date that they submitted for the loan and what kind of ratios we have. Can they afford the home, you know? And how high can they go on the property? So they went ahead and sent us an actual DU approval letter, which is solid, okay? That this buyer went ahead and submitted W-2s, tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements. They already did the initial part of the process of obtaining a new mortgage, and they've already gone through that. So that tells us that we're ready to move forward. We're not going to have further delays on that. Okay? So this is the first offer that we received. How do you feel?
Good.
Feels good? Any questions so far?
No.
How exciting is that we got you $2,000 above asking price on your home? How does that feel?
I guess I got a good house.
You got a good house? You sure do. And you know what? There's two reasons that we believe a home sells or doesn't sell. Marketing and exposure. And as you can see the feedback from the public, you had great marketing done on this home and great exposure. Where anywhere on the World Wide Web they can find your home was listed. The Google, Trulia, Yahoo, Zillow, Remax, WallStreetJournal.com. So those things create that buzz and that energy, and then the buyers get excited and they fall in love with your home. Also, remember, we did a staging in your home. Remember, we said, all right, let's declutter. Let's brighten up the lights here. Let's repaint. So you did those efforts, and that's also part of the results here. So this was actually done by design. Okay, so that's really, really important. That's why when customers like you list their homes with us, we can give them more money many times on their homes because of the marketing, because of the exposure, because of the expertise and knowledge on how you should design your home. So when the buyer walks in, boom, they fall in love, you see? Now here we received a second offer on your home. So let me go ahead and present you the second offer, okay? The second offer was received yesterday from another co-broker, another agent who brought her buyer. And the offer here is an as-is contract as well. And they're offering us $190 on our home. Okay, remember our list price is $204.9, and they're actually offering us $190 on the property. They've already given a good faith deposit of $5,000, and they're obtaining a new mortgage, FHA as well, of $183,650. So they're also first-time home buyers putting 3.5% down, buying your property. Okay. They would like to hear back by tomorrow from us on if we're going to accept, counter, or reject their offer. And the closing date they said here is 45 days, okay, which is about standard when you're getting an FHA mortgage. Okay. Second page of the contract is very similar actually to your first offer. Same thing, that they have certain days to apply for a new mortgage, and they have to respond to us per that contract those days. So they can't come back to us a day before closing and say, well, sorry, we got denied for the loan. They have X number of days to make sure that they give us a commitment letter from the bank. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. This buyer here would like 7 days to go ahead and do an inspection on the property, okay? And per this contract, they have a right to cancel if they're unsatisfied with anything that they found on the inspection report, and then we would return them their deposit. If they're really interested in the home and they'd like to renegotiate, that opportunity would come back to us to renegotiate if that's the case. Standard contract, which we went over before with you on the previous deal. And also the Fha Writer, lead-based paint disclosure. And here is also a copy of an escrow letter, which means that they've already given a $5,000 deposit to a title company, and the title company provided us an escrow letter that says, hey, we are holding $5,000 from this buyer to secure a new home. So we also have a copy of that. We also have a copy of their DU approval letter. Again, this is something we requested. We did not want just a standard pre-approval letter that anybody can just print and say, here you go. This buyer has submitted us a DU approval letter, which tells us how high they can go. As you can tell here, they're offering us 190, and look at their ratio, 48%. Now, me being in this business for over 25 years, I can tell you that this buyer is tight right now. See, 48%, that's almost half of his income that's going towards the payments. So he's a little bit stretched, a little tight, versus the other buyer who had 28% and could go higher. So that tells us two things. One, that this buyer is pushing it. He really wants this home at 204.9. That's why he's offering you 190, but he's pushing it. You know, his expenses versus his income is almost 50%. So that's a little tight. This may be a little higher property priced for this particular buyer. Also, $15,000 less than what you were asking for on the home. But this is a copy of the buyer's DU or desktop approval letter that we did request, and they sent it to us. It also tells us what kind of payments they're making on their home right now, on their credit. Capital One, what kind of balances they have on their credit cards, and that sort of a thing. Any questions so far? Interesting stuff, right? We also have here a copy of how much money they have in their checking account. So that's good. That tells us, okay, they have this amount of money. Like this buyer has $15,000 in their checking account. That's really good to tell us that they have money for their closing costs and their down payment on that there. Okay? And here's the final on that. All right, so any questions so far? No? All right, so how do you feel? We have presented you two offers. One is at 190, the other offer is at 207, which is $2,000 above asking. Now, at this time, you can A, accept one of these two offers, B, you can counter one of these offers, or C, you can reject those offers. But why would you reject these offers? You have clearly a very, very good offer. You do need to sell in order to buy your new home in Port Charlotte. So that's really, really important. So how do you feel? What would you like to do?
Which one you think we should go with?
Well, if I was you, I mean, $2,000 above asking price, I would say, where do I sign?
Yeah, that was the next thing.
All right, very good. So it tells me that you're going to be going with this one, right?
Yes.
All right, so this one it is. So I will notify this buyer that you have rejected their offer because you're accepting another offer. That sounds right?
Yes.
All right, so what you're going to do here is we're just going to require you to just sign on the last page. So let me show you where that is. It says Mohan Chinku, you would sign here. Juliet, you would sign here and put today's date, which is February the 20th. So you would go ahead and do that. While you're doing that, I'm going to highlight the other areas that's going to require you to initial and sign. If it's a small dash, it's an initial. If it's a long dash, it's a signature. All right? So as you're doing that, here you go. You're selling your home. Congratulations. All right, so we're just going to do that here. So, as you guys have seen, Mr. and Mrs. Chinku have sold their home. They're accepting a higher priced offer, and we hope this information has helped you. Again, my name is Aroosa Rauf, broker at RE/MAX Presidential in Pembroke Pines and in Aventura, and we have a very, very happy seller here. If you're ever thinking about buying or selling your property, please feel free to give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you. All the best.